As you listen to this explainer, 133 elaborately frocked clergy are gathered in the Sistine Chapel in the Apostolic Palace in the Vatican City to choose a new pope, a successor to the late Pope Francis. This is, of course, assuming that you're listening to this explainer reasonably close to its initial date of broadcast. Though if you are somehow tuning in from the future, greetings from 2025, hope everything worked out okay, and that US President Eric or Baron Trump isn't screwing everything up too badly. The 133 are the cardinal electors. Though there are presently 252 cardinals, only those under 80 are entitled to choose a new pope, which brings it down to 135, but 2 could not come due to ill health. Another, Cardinal Angelo Becciu, was stripped of his voting rights by Francis after being convicted of embezzlement in 2023. He briefly threatened to crash this conclave, but has been persuaded to stand down to spare everyone the awkward spectacle of gaudily pantalooned Swiss guards bundling such an eminence down the Sistine Chapel stairs. The fun thing about writing an explainer about the papal conclave, as this gathering is known, is that almost nobody who has never attended one really knows what actually occurs during one. The cardinals swear on the Gospels to keep proceedings secret, an oath you would hope they, of all people, take pretty seriously. Little is known of past conclaves, though it is said that the 1605 gathering, which eventually elected Paul V, descended into fisticuffs, and that the 1655 assembly, which chose Alexander VII, was enlivened by bored younger cardinals startling their more elderly colleagues by dressing up as ghosts.
Boo!
After a Vatican election, and the Pope is, among other responsibilities, a head of state, if head of the world's smallest state, i.e. the Vatican City, population 900 or so, there are no post-count panel discussions on Vatican television as participants earnestly discuss what went right for the winner and wrong for the losers. The cardinals enter conclave, pick a pope, and resume cardinaling. For all we definitively know, the matter might be settled by rounds of rock, paper, scissors. So we can start with what we do know before proceeding to the inane speculation about and beard-scratching analysis of the possible outcomes. We do know why there's so much we don't know. The secrecy of the conclave is rigidly forbidding. Not only are the cardinals and Vatican staff prohibited from taking phones or other devices into the conclave, and not only is the venue rigged with jamming equipment, the Vatican's phone signal will be switched off for the duration in case someone has tried to fold one into their frock. No radio or television or newspapers are permitted, however long proceedings go on for, and the longest, which eventually elected Pope Gregory X in 1271, went on for 1,006 days, an absurd and excruciating marathon during which 3 of the then 20 cardinal electors died, and which prompted Gregory to institute the brisker and more cloistered process which has chosen his successors. Even the windows of the palace are blacked out, lest an impressionable elector perceive divine portent in a passing pigeon. And back in 236, Pope Fabian was appointed after a dove landed on his head during deliberations, which was taken to be a signal from upstairs. In a more modern precaution, the windows are also sealed with laser-reflecting coatings to deflect snooping scanners operated by reporters or punters seeking a hot tip. But the process goes broadly something like this. The papacy is awarded to the first candidate to win over 2/3 of cardinal electors, so the magic number in this instance is going to be 89. This is arrived at via regular secret ballots, 1 on the first day, 4 on all subsequent days. When there isn't a decision, black smoke will billow from a chimney on the chapel roof. When there is, the smoke will be white, and habemus papam, we have a pope. Recent conclaves have got it done pretty quickly. Francis was elected on the 5th ballot, his predecessor Benedict XVI on the 4th. Technically, the Pope does not have to be one of the cardinals. Any baptized unmarried Catholic male is eligible, which, despite his recent bizarre fantasies, does appear to rule out US President Donald Trump, though it would not be the first office he has won despite appearing manifestly unqualified.
Have to have a little fun, don't you?
But it is 647 years since the cardinals went shopping elsewhere and appointed Bartolomeo Prignano, Archbishop of Bari, who in 1378 became Pope Urban VI, though this was a period of considerable schism, tumult and brouhaha, when much of Europe recognised instead the Avignon-based anti-pope, Clement VII. Urban died in 1389 from injuries sustained falling off a mule. So the overwhelming likelihood is that one of the men who entered the chapel, a relatively anonymous priest, will emerge from it Pope, and instantly one of the best-known people on earth. Conventional wisdom has it, almost as if the cardinals are trying to prove something to infidel bookmakers and their heathen customers, that the favourite rarely gets the nod, which, if it holds, would spell disappointment for short-priced frontrunners Pietro Parolin, currently the Vatican's Secretary of State, and Luis Antonio Tagle, former Archbishop of Manila. And this conclave is unpredictable even by the usual standards. One of Francis's legacies is the most diverse array of cardinals ever assembled. At least 24 of the 133 electors are their country's first cardinal, among them emissaries from Myanmar, East Timor and Tonga. 18 are from Africa, 17 from South America. Other than Italy, with 17, the only other country with a double-figure contingent is the United States, with 10. The value bet might be Joseph Tobin, Archbishop of Newark, currently returning triple-figure odds. Putting an American on St. Peter's throne while Donald Trump occupies the White House would be a punchy maneuver, and the appointment of a pope from New Jersey would surely prompt the most joyous day in the history of social media. For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Mueller.